A bossy HOA board member thought she could push around the quiet new neighbor. Big mistake. When she got physical, she had no idea the woman she attacked had years of combat training. What happened next left everyone in the neighborhood absolutely stunned and the bully regretting her actions. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The rain poured down as Maya carried the last box from the U-Haul truck into her new townhouse. Her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, sat on the porch steps, soaked and shivering, clutching her teddy bear with tears streaming down her face. "Mommy, I'm cold," Lily whimpered. "I want to go home. I want Daddy." Maya's heart shattered into a million pieces. She set down the box and knelt beside her daughter, pulling her close despite the rain. "Baby, I know. I know you want Daddy. I want him too. So much it hurts to breathe." 4 weeks ago, they were a complete family. Then a drunk driver ran a red light at 70 miles per hour. James died instantly, his body shielding Maya and Lily in the back seat. He saved them. And now they were alone in a strange neighborhood, starting over with nothing but grief and memories. "Come inside, sweetheart. Let's get you dry and warm." Maya had just gotten Lily into dry clothes when she heard shouting outside. She looked through the window and saw a blonde woman in an expensive white pantsuit standing in her driveway, hands on her hips, yelling at the U-Haul driver. "You cannot park this monstrosity here. This is a violation of HOA Code 7.3. Move it immediately." Maya took a deep breath and stepped outside. The rain had stopped, but everything was still wet and gray. She approached the woman with what she hoped was a polite smile. "Excuse me, I'm Maya Torres. I just moved in. Is there a problem?" The woman turned, looking Maya up and down with obvious disgust. Maya knew what she saw, a thin, exhausted woman in worn jeans and an old sweatshirt, with dark circles under her eyes and no makeup. She looked weak. Broken. Like someone who couldn't fight back. "I'm Patricia Henderson, HOA president," the woman announced, her voice dripping with contempt. "And yes, there are multiple problems. Your moving truck is blocking the main road. That's a $500 fine. Your front lawn hasn't been mowed. Another $200. And is that a non-regulation wreath on your door?" Maya blinked. "I just got here 20 minutes ago. My husband just died. Can you please give me a few days to—" "I don't care about your sob story," Patricia snapped. "Everyone has problems. Rules are rules. You signed the HOA agreement, which means you agreed to maintain our community standards. If you can't handle that, you shouldn't have moved here." Something twisted in Maya's chest. She'd dealt with drill sergeants, combat situations, and enemy fighters. But this woman's casual cruelty toward a widow and grieving child ignited something dangerous inside her. "Please lower your voice," Maya said quietly. "My daughter is inside. She's scared and grieving. Your shouting is upsetting her." Patricia laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "Oh, poor baby. Let me tell you something about children. They're coddled too much these days. A little discipline never hurt anyone. Maybe if you actually parented instead of making excuses, she wouldn't be so weak." Maya's hands clenched into fists. She forced herself to breathe, to stay calm. She'd left the military to be a mother, to be peaceful. She'd promised James she wouldn't use her training unless absolutely necessary. "Ma'am, I'm asking you nicely. Please leave my property." "Or what?" Patricia stepped closer, invading Maya's space. "What are you going to do about it? You look like a strong wind could blow you over. You're pathetic. A weak little widow who can't even take care of herself, let alone a child." She poked Maya's shoulder with her manicured finger. "Hard. I bet your husband is glad he's dead so he doesn't have to deal with a useless wife like you anymore." The world went red. Maya's military training had taught her control, discipline, restraint. But Patricia had just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. She'd insulted James. The man who'd given his life to protect his family. The man who'd been everything good and kind in this world. "Take that back," Maya said, her voice deadly quiet. "Why should I?" Patricia smirked, poking Maya again. "It's true. You're nothing. A nobody. And in this neighborhood, nobody's like you don't." She made the mistake of pushing Maya's chest with both hands. Maya's body reacted on pure instinct. Years of Marine Corps hand-to-hand combat training took over. She grabbed Patricia's wrists, pivoted on her left foot, and used Patricia's own momentum against her. In one fluid motion, she swept Patricia's legs out from under her and controlled her fall, laying her flat on the wet driveway. Patricia hit the ground with a gasp, the wind knocked from her lungs. She lay there, stunned, staring up at Maya with wide, shocked eyes. "How, what?" Patricia sputtered. Maya stood over her, breathing hard, trying to regain control. "I asked you nicely to leave. You put your hands on me 3 times. That's assault. I defended myself using minimum necessary force." Patricia's shock quickly turned to rage. She scrambled backward, her white pantsuit now stained with mud and water. "You attacked me. You assaulted me. Do you know who I am? I will destroy you. I'll have you arrested. I'll have you evicted. I'll make sure you never find another home in this city." "Mommy?" Maya turned to see Lily standing in the doorway, her little face pale with fear. "Mommy, why is that lady screaming? Go inside, baby. Right now." "But. Now, Lily." Her daughter fled inside, and Maya's heart broke again. She'd scared her own child. She'd let this cruel woman push her into violence in front of Lily. Patricia was on her feet now, pulling out her phone. "I'm calling the police. I'm pressing charges. You're going to jail, and your precious daughter will go into foster care. How does that feel, you violent psycho?" "I have cameras," a voice called out. An elderly man emerged from the house next door, holding up his phone. "I recorded everything. You pushed her 3 times. You assaulted her first. She defended herself." "I don't care." Patricia shrieked. "She's trained. Look at how she moved. She's dangerous. She doesn't belong in this neighborhood." More neighbors were emerging now, drawn by the commotion. A young woman with a baby. A middle-aged couple. A group of teenagers. They stood in their doorways and on their lawns, watching. "Actually," the elderly man said calmly, "I'm Colonel Richard Martinez, U.S. Army retired. I recognize military training when I see it. This young woman used textbook defensive tactics. She didn't strike you. She didn't hurt you beyond putting you on the ground. She showed remarkable restraint, especially given your verbal assault." "Verbal assault?" Patricia's voice went shrill. "I was doing my job. I'm the HOA president. I maintain standards in this community." "You're a bully," the young woman with the baby said quietly. "You've terrorized this neighborhood for 5 years. You fined me $300 because my baby's stroller was visible from the street. You threatened Mr. and Mrs. Chen because their grandson chalked hopscotch on their own driveway. You made Mrs. Rodriguez cry because her rose bushes were 2 inches too tall." Patricia's face flushed red. Those were violations. Clear violations of made-up rules, Colonel Martinez interrupted. "I've been reviewing the actual HOA bylaws. Most of your rules don't exist in our governing documents. You've been operating outside your authority for years. This is ridiculous." Patricia turned back to Maya, her face twisted with rage. "You think you're so tough? You think your little military training makes you special? Let me tell you something. She lunged at Maya, her hands raised like claws, going for Maya's face. This time, Maya didn't hold back. She sidestepped Patricia's wild attack, caught her arm, and used an Aikido technique to redirect Patricia's energy. Patricia spun around and fell again, harder this time, landing on her hands and knees in a puddle. "Stop attacking me," Maya said firmly. "I don't want to hurt you. But I will defend myself every single time you put your hands on me." Patricia pushed herself up, covered in mud, her expensive pantsuit ruined. She looked around at the growing crowd of neighbors, all watching her with expressions ranging from shock to satisfaction. "You're all going to regret this," she hissed. "Every single one of you. I'll fine you. I'll cite you. I'll make your lives miserable. This is my neighborhood." "No," Colonel Martinez said. "It's our neighborhood. And we're done being afraid of you." Patricia's eyes narrowed dangerously. She pulled out her phone and made a call. "Yes, police. I need to report an assault. A violent woman attacked me. She's dangerous. She has military training and she's unstable. There's a child in the home who's in danger. Please send officers immediately." Maya's blood ran cold. They were going to take Lily. Child Protective Services would get involved. Her daughter had already lost her father, now she might lose her mother too. "Ma'am, please," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Please don't do this. My daughter has been through enough. She watched her father die. She's traumatized. She needs her mother. Please." "Should have thought of that before you attacked me," Patricia said with a cruel smile. "Maybe they'll find her a better home. With parents who aren't violent criminals." Maya felt tears burning behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She wouldn't give this woman the satisfaction. The police arrived within 10 minutes. 2 officers, one older with kind eyes, one younger and more stern. Patricia immediately started talking, her voice high and panicked. "Officers, thank God you're here. This woman attacked me. Twice. She threw me to the ground. Look at my suit. I'm injured. I want to press charges. And there's a child inside that house who's in danger." The older officer, whose name tag read Garcia, held up a hand. "Ma'am, slow down. Let's take this step by step. Can I see some identification?" While Patricia fumbled for her wallet, Colonel Martinez approached with his phone. "Officers, I have video evidence of what actually happened." They watched the footage in silence. It clearly showed Patricia pushing Maya 3 times, then lunging at her. It showed Maya's defensive responses, controlled, measured, minimal force. Officer Garcia looked at Patricia with disappointment. "Ma'am, from what I'm seeing here, you initiated physical contact multiple times." The other party defended herself appropriately. "She's trained." Patricia insisted. "She's dangerous. She could have killed me." "But she didn't," the younger officer pointed out. "In fact, she showed considerable restraint. If she'd wanted to hurt you, ma'am, you'd be in an ambulance right now, not standing here yelling." "I want her arrested." "On what charge?" Officer Garcia asked. "You assaulted her. She defended herself. If anyone should be arrested here, it's you." Patricia's mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is outrageous. I'm the victim here." "No, ma'am. You're the aggressor." Officer Garcia turned to Maya. "Ma'am, would you like to press charges?" Maya looked at Patricia, muddy, furious, humiliated, and felt something unexpected. Not satisfaction. Not victory. Just exhaustion and sadness. "No," Maya said quietly. "I just want to be left alone. I want to take care of my daughter and grieve for my husband in peace." "You sure?" the officer asked gently. Because based on this video and these witness statements, we have grounds to arrest her for assault and battery. I'm sure. I don't want more conflict. I just want peace. Patricia's expression twisted into something ugly. You think this is over? You think you've won? I'll make your life hell. I'll find every violation, every tiny infraction. I'll fine you into bankruptcy. Actually, Colonel Martinez interrupted, we're having an emergency HOA meeting tomorrow night to discuss your removal as president. We have more than enough signatures to force a vote. Patricia went pale. You can't. We can. And we will. The young woman with the baby stepped forward. You've hurt too many people, Patricia. You've abused your power for too long. It ends now. Over the next 24 hours, Maya learned the full extent of Patricia's cruelty. Neighbors came by with food, stories, and support. She heard about the single mother who'd been fined for hanging laundry outside to save on electricity. The disabled veteran who'd been cited for installing a wheelchair ramp without HOA approval. The elderly couple who'd almost lost their home because they couldn't afford Patricia's arbitrary fines. She targets vulnerable people, Jennifer, the young mother, explained as she helped Maya unpack boxes. Single parents, elderly folks, anyone she thinks can't fight back. She's been operating like a dictator for 5 years. Maya felt sick. Why didn't anyone stop her before? Fear, Colonel Martinez said simply. He'd come over with tools to help assemble Lily's bed. She threatened eviction, legal action, endless fines. People were afraid of losing their homes. But you stood up to her. You showed us that she's not invincible. I didn't mean to, Maya said, watching Lily color quietly in the corner. Her daughter hadn't spoken much since yesterday. I lost control. I broke my promise. What promise? Jennifer asked gently. When I left the Marines, I promised my husband I'd never fight again. That I'd use my training only to protect our family, never in anger. But yesterday, when she said those things about James, Maya's voice broke. I wanted to hurt her. For just a moment, I wanted to. But you didn't, Colonel Martinez pointed out. You controlled yourself. You used minimal force. That takes more strength than most people realize. That evening, Lily finally spoke. She climbed into Maya's lap while they sat on the couch, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes. Mommy, are you a superhero? Maya was so surprised she almost laughed. What? No, baby. Why would you think that? Because you stopped that mean lady. She was being bad and you made her stop. Like superheroes do. Maya hugged her daughter close, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo. I'm not a superhero, sweetheart. I'm just a mom trying to protect her little girl. But you did that special move. The one that made her fall down. How did you learn that? When Mommy was younger, before you were born, I was in the military. The Marines. They taught me how to defend myself and other people. Like Daddy. Maya's throat tightened. Daddy was in the Marines too. That's how we met. We trained together. Did Daddy know special moves? Yes, baby. He knew lots of them. Lily was quiet for a moment, processing this. Mommy? That lady said mean things about Daddy. Really mean things. I know. That's why you got angry. Yes. But I shouldn't have. Getting angry doesn't help anything. But you didn't hurt her really bad. You just made her stop being mean. Out of the mouths of babes. Maya realized her daughter was right. She hadn't attacked Patricia. She defended herself and, by extension, defended her daughter. There was a difference. You're right, sweetheart. Sometimes we have to stand up to mean people. But we should always try to do it without violence first. You did try. You asked her to leave lots of times. She didn't listen. Maya kissed the top of Lily's head. When did you get so wise? Daddy always said I was smart like you. Tears slipped down Maya's cheeks. He did, didn't he? They sat together, holding each other, until Lily fell asleep. Maya carried her to bed, tucked her in, and stood watching her daughter sleep. This precious little girl who'd lost so much but still had the capacity for wisdom and love. The HOA meeting the next night was packed. Every homeowner in the community seemed to be there. Patricia sat at the front table with her lawyer, looking smug despite everything. This meeting is out of order, Patricia announced. As president, I haven't approved. You don't need to approve it, Colonel Martinez interrupted. According to our bylaws, any resident can call an emergency meeting with 25% of homeowner signatures. We have 40%. Patricia's confident smile faltered. This is a witch hunt. No, Jennifer stood, holding baby Emma. This is accountability. You've abused your position for 5 years. You've targeted the most vulnerable people in this community. You've created fake rules and illegal fines. And you've pocketed money that should have gone to community improvements. That's a lie. Patricia shot to her feet. Is it? Colonel Martinez distributed folders to the attendees. These are HOA bank statements for the past 3 years. Notice the discrepancies. Money that was supposedly spent on landscaping, maintenance, community events. Except those expenses don't match up with any actual work done. You have no right to. I have every right. I'm a homeowner. These are community funds. And you've stolen $47,000 over 3 years. The room erupted. Neighbors shouted questions, accusations. Patricia's lawyer whispered urgently in her ear, but she shook him off. I didn't steal anything. That money was used for administrative costs. For my time managing this community. Administrative costs aren't allowed under our bylaws, Colonel Martinez said calmly. The HOA president is a volunteer position. You're not entitled to payment. Patricia's face went red, then purple. She pointed a shaking finger at Maya, who was sitting in the back with Lily. This is all because of her. She attacked me. She's violent. And you're all taking her side because you're too weak to follow rules. Actually, the elderly Mrs. Chen stood up, her voice quavering with emotion. This is because you fined my husband and me $2,000 when our grandson drew hopscotch on our driveway with chalk. Washable chalk. We almost lost our home because we're on a fixed income and couldn't pay. Our grandson cried because he thought it was his fault. One by one, people stood and shared their stories. The catalog of Patricia's cruelty was staggering. She'd targeted single mothers, disabled veterans, elderly couples, anyone she perceived as weak or unable to fight back. Maya listened, her heart breaking for these people. Patricia hadn't just been mean to her. This was a pattern of systematic abuse and bullying. When it was Maya's turn to speak, she stood with Lily holding her hand. I moved here 4 weeks after my husband died, Maya began, her voice steady. We had nowhere else to go. Our old home had too many memories. I needed a fresh start for my daughter. Within 30 minutes of arriving, Mrs. Henderson threatened us with $700 in fines. She yelled at my grieving 5-year-old daughter. She insulted my dead husband. And when I asked her to leave, she physically assaulted me. 3 times. She attacked me. Patricia screamed. I defended myself, Maya corrected. I'm a Marine Corps veteran with training in hand-to-hand combat. If I'd wanted to hurt you, Mrs. Henderson, I could have. But I didn't. I used minimum necessary force to protect myself and my child. That's what my training is for. Protection. Not aggression. You're dangerous. No, Maya said quietly. I'm a mother. And mothers protect their children. Even from bullies who abuse their power. The vote to remove Patricia as HOA president was unanimous. 43-0, with Patricia refusing to vote. "You'll regret this," Patricia hissed, gathering her things. "All of you. I'll sue. I'll fight this. You haven't seen the last of me." Actually, Officer Garcia stepped forward from where he'd been standing at the back of the room. "You have. Mrs. Henderson, you're under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and assault. You have the right to remain silent." As they led Patricia away in handcuffs, she screamed threats and insults. But her power was broken. The community she'd terrorized for so long was finally free. After she was gone, neighbors surrounded Maya. They thanked her. They hugged her. They welcomed her to the community properly. "You didn't just stand up for yourself," Colonel Martinez said. "You stood up for all of us. You showed us that bullies can be stopped." Maya shook her head. "I didn't mean to be brave. I couldn't let her disrespect my husband. I couldn't let her scare my daughter. I reacted." "That's what courage is," Jennifer said softly. "Not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. Not planning to be brave, but being brave when the moment demands it." Over the following weeks, the neighborhood transformed. Patricia's replacement, a kind retired teacher named Mrs. Lopez, eliminated all the fake rules. Children played in yards. Families decorated for holidays. People talked to each other without fear. But Maya and Lily still struggled. Some nights, Lily woke up screaming from nightmares about the accident. Some days, Maya couldn't get out of bed because the grief was too overwhelming. They saw Dr. Chen, a therapist who specialized in childhood trauma. She taught them coping strategies, ways to process their grief together. "Lily needs to see you grieve," Dr. Chen explained. "She needs to know it's okay to be sad, to miss her father. If you're always strong, always controlled, she'll think she has to be too. And that's not healthy." So Maya started being honest with her daughter. When she felt sad, she said so. When she missed James, she told Lily. They looked at photos together and cried together and remembered together. "Mommy?" Lily asked one evening while they were looking at pictures. "Are you still sad that you hurt that mean lady?" "I didn't hurt her, baby. But yes, I'm sad that I had to defend myself that way. I wish she'd just left us alone. But if you didn't stop her, she would have kept being mean. To us and to everyone. I know. Sometimes standing up to bullies means being physical. But I always want that to be the last resort, not the first choice. Dr. Chen says you're a hero." She said that? She said lots of people are strong enough to fight, but only heroes are strong enough to only fight when they have to. Maya felt tears sting her eyes. Dr. Chen is very wise. "Mommy? I think Daddy would be proud of you." Those words broke Maya's heart and healed it simultaneously. "You think so?" "Yeah. Because you protected me. That's what Daddy always did. He protected us. And now you do." 3 months after moving in, the neighborhood threw a block party. It was the first one in 5 years. Patricia had banned them, claiming they violated noise ordinances. Lily ran and played with other children, her laughter ringing out clear and bright. Maya stood watching her, amazed at her daughter's resilience. Kids were incredible that way. They could carry such heavy grief and still find moments of pure joy. "She's doing well," Colonel Martinez observed, joining Maya with a plate of barbecue. "She has her moments. Bad days. Nightmares. But yes, she's healing." "And you?" Maya was quiet for a moment. "I'm trying. Some days are harder than others. But we have a community now. We have support. That makes all the difference." "You gave us that community back," Jennifer said, walking up with baby Emma. Before you stood up to Patricia, we were all isolated. Afraid to connect because any gathering might result in fines or threats. Now look at us. Maya looked around at the party. Neighbors talking and laughing. Children playing. Families connecting. It was beautiful. I just did what anyone would do, she said. No, Colonel Martinez corrected gently. You did what we all wished we'd had the courage to do. You faced down a bully. You protected not just yourself, but all of us. That night, after Lily was asleep, Maya sat on her porch and looked up at the stars. She found the brightest one, the one Lily always said was Daddy. I kept my promise, she whispered to the night. I only used my training to protect our family. And by standing up to Patricia, I protected our new family too. I hope you understand. I hope you're proud. The stars seemed to twinkle a little brighter, and Maya chose to believe that was James, telling her he understood. That he was proud. That he would always be with them, watching over them, loving them. She thought about Patricia sometimes. The woman had been sentenced to 2 years in prison for embezzlement and assault. Part of Maya felt sorry for her. What kind of pain must someone carry inside to be that cruel to others? What had happened to Patricia to turn her into a person who hurt vulnerable people? But Maya also knew that understanding someone's pain didn't mean accepting their behavior. Patricia had made choices. She'd chosen to bully and steal and hurt. And she'd faced consequences for those choices. The world was full of people carrying pain. The difference was what you did with that pain. Did you let it turn you bitter and mean? Or did you use it to become more compassionate, more understanding, more protective of others who were suffering? Maya had made her choice. She would carry her grief, but she wouldn't let it make her cruel. She would remember James by being the kind of person he'd loved, strong but gentle, brave but kind, willing to fight but only when necessary. 6 months after the incident with Patricia, Lily came home from school with a drawing. It showed 3 stick figures, Lily, Maya, and James. But this time, James wasn't drawn as an angel floating above them. He was standing between them, holding their hands, all 3 of them smiling. Mrs. Lopez said we should draw our families, Lily explained. I drew us. All of us. But baby, Daddy isn't here anymore. Yes he is, Lily said simply. Dr. Chen says people we love are always with us. In our hearts. In our memories. In the way we love other people. So Daddy's still part of our family. He's just in a different way now. Maya pulled her daughter into a tight hug. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart. You and Daddy made me that way. They hung the picture on the refrigerator, right next to the photos of James. And Maya realized that her daughter was right. James was still with them. In the courage Maya had shown standing up to Patricia. In the kindness they showed their neighbors. In the love they had for each other. Love didn't end when someone died. It transformed. It became the foundation on which you built your new life. Maya Torres had been a lot of things in her life, a Marine, a fighter, a wife, a widow. But most importantly, she was a mother. And mothers did whatever was necessary to protect their children and create safe communities for them to grow up in. She hadn't wanted to fight Patricia Henderson. She tried every other option first. But when pushed, literally, she defended herself and, in doing so, had freed an entire neighborhood from a tyrant's control. That wasn't violence. That was protection. That was justice. That was using strength not to dominate, but to defend. And in the end, that was the lesson she wanted to teach Lily. Be strong. Be brave. Be kind. But never be afraid to stand up to bullies, even when they seem powerful. Even when you're grieving. Even when you feel like you're breaking into pieces. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stand up when everyone expects you to stay down. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is defend yourself and others, even when it would be easier to just walk away. Maya had knocked down an HOA Karen who thought she could bully a grieving widow and child. But more importantly, she'd stood back up herself. She'd rebuilt a life after devastating loss. She'd created a safe home for her daughter. She'd helped build a community based on kindness instead of fear. And that was the real victory. Not the fight. Not putting Patricia on the ground. But everything that came after. The healing. The growth. The choice to use strength for good instead of harm. As Lily would say, that's what heroes do. And Maya Torres, trained fighter and grieving mother, had become exactly that, not through violence, but through the courage to stand up when it mattered most, and the wisdom to know that real strength isn't about how hard you can hit, but about how much you can protect and heal. The story of the HOA Karen who got knocked down by the new girl wasn't really about the fight at all. It was about a community finding its courage. A mother finding her strength. And a little girl learning that even in the darkest times, love and bravery could light the way forward.